At this very moment, you are feeling something. You see light. You hear sound. Thoughts flow through you. But have you ever wondered why that isn't just information processing? Why it exists as an experience? For over 300 years, philosophers have been asking this question. Is consciousness a special phenomenon produced by a special machine called the brain? Or does the seed of consciousness dwell within matter itself? Now, cutting-edge science and philosophy are converging toward a remarkable answer. The answer that consciousness may not be the brain's exclusive property, but a fundamental property of the universe itself. In this video, we'll dive deep through the lens of science into that idea known as panpsychism. By the time this video ends, the way you look at a single pebble, a single electron, may be changed at its very foundation. Chapter 1. Does the seed of consciousness dwell in all matter? We stand now before what philosophers call the hardest problem in the history of their discipline. Why do material processes give rise to subjective experience? Neurons fire inside the brain. Electrical signals surge. Chemical substances are released. All of that is a physical event. Computable, measurable, describable. But why does the sensation of red arise there? Why does the sting of pain exist? This is the hard problem. No matter how far neuroscience advances, the physical laws alone cannot explain why experience emerges there at all. This is not a limitation of science. It is the depth of the question itself. And this is where panpsychism enters, an ancient idea that is also startlingly new. Panpsychism makes a claim. Consciousness is not something the brain manufactures. It is a fundamental property of matter itself. Tononi's integrated information theory, known as IIT, proposes this. The degree of consciousness is determined by the complexity of integrated information. And this theory hints at a remarkable possibility. Any system that sufficiently integrates information may give rise to some form of consciousness. Consider this for a moment. Wherever an electron is found, it behaves the same way. What if, underlying that behavior, there exists some primitive capacity to feel? Is that a wild fantasy? Or is it the key to unlocking the mystery of consciousness? That said, IIT is also a hypothesis that sparked a major controversy in 2023. 124 consciousness researchers signed an open letter, and a fierce debate over its scientific standing continues to this day. Both panpsychism and IIT are not settled science. They are an ongoing exploration. Keeping that in mind, let's look together at the depth of this question. But if electrons have consciousness, why does a stone appear to feel nothing at all? From here, the mystery only deepens. Let's venture into the greatest challenge panpsychism faces and the cutting-edge arguments struggling to overcome it. Chapter 2. The combination problem and the spectrum of consciousness. What is panpsychism's greatest weakness? It is called the combination problem. If each individual electron possesses a primitive consciousness, why does a brain made of countless electrons give rise to one unified consciousness? If you add the consciousness of electron A to the consciousness of electron B, do you get my consciousness? Neither addition nor multiplication gets you there so easily. Why do scattered fragments of consciousness become the unified entity we call I? Philosopher Philip Goff argues this. The problem lies in the very idea of addition. He proposes cosmopsychism, a compelling form of panpsychism that takes the entire universe as the source of consciousness. Rather than fragments of consciousness assembling, perhaps the consciousness of the whole universe is expressing itself locally. This is not a solution. It is a shift in perspective. But this shift opens a crucial question. Is there a spectrum to consciousness? Is the consciousness of an electron different in kind from human consciousness, or different only in degree? Tononi's IIT offers one answer here. The quantity of consciousness can be expressed as a value called phi. The higher the phi, the richer the consciousness, the lower, the thinner. The human phi is high, a simple circuit's phi is low. And crucially, while a mere aggregate like a stone does not itself possess phi, at the level of the atoms and electrons that compose it, a faint form of consciousness may exist. Let's think about what this means. Consciousness is not a binary choice between on and off. It spreads as a spectrum. The more thoroughly a system integrates information, the richer its consciousness becomes. Every form of existence may occupy some position on that continuum. If this is correct, there is no complete absence of consciousness anywhere in the universe. But if consciousness is a spectrum, the universe as a whole may itself be a single conscious entity. Let's look at where this idea ultimately leads. Now, let's press into the question of what lies beyond the mind-body dualism. Chapter 3. When the universe becomes conscious, what are we? If consciousness is a fundamental property of the universe, then the universe itself may be conscious. This is called Panpsychism, a perspective that sees the entire universe as the source of consciousness. This is not New Age mysticism. It is a hypothesis that serious philosophers and physicists are examining with the language and mathematics of our time. Whitehead argued in his landmark 1929 work, "Everything that exists is, in some form, experiencing. A stone, a photon, the expansion of the universe itself. Each may be receiving the world in its own way. Accept this, and the dualism of matter and mind collapses. Matter and mind become two faces of the same reality." And here, another question emerges. If the entire universe is the source of consciousness, is our consciousness a part of that cosmic consciousness? Or are we the window through which the universe recognizes itself? Koch argues this. Even behind the behavior of a plant turning towards sunlight, there may exist an extremely primitive form of experience. This has not been proven, but neither can current science fully deny it. If the reach of consciousness is far wider than we imagine, we are living inside a universe saturated with it. And here is where the final shift in understanding arrives. We may not be beings who have consciousness. We may be crystals in which the universe's consciousness has condensed locally to a higher density. At this intersection of physics, philosophy, and neuroscience, we are forced to question the very nature of what we are. I'm not seeking a simple answer to this idea. I only feel the weight of the question itself. If there is a primitive trace of consciousness in a pebble you pick up off the ground, the world becomes an entirely different place. The universe may not be an object we observe. It may be a presence that feels alongside us. And consciousness may not be a solitary phenomenon, but a form of solidarity spread throughout the cosmos. Now, let's step back and take stock of what today's exploration has revealed. Chapter 4. A shift in understanding. Today, we've explored panpsychism and the universality of consciousness in depth. From the hard problem of consciousness, to IIT, to the combination problem, and finally, to the possibility of cosmic consciousness. What emerged through this journey is the fact that the question of consciousness is profoundly shaking the boundary between science and philosophy. Let me bring together 3 insights from today's exploration. First, consciousness is not the brain's exclusive domain. Panpsychism reframes consciousness as a fundamental property of the universe. The idea that even a minimal integrated system like an electron may carry the seeds of consciousness is not wild fantasy. It is a philosophical and scientific hypothesis under serious consideration. Second, consciousness exists as a spectrum. The concept of phi in IIT gives us a lens through which to see consciousness as a continuous quantity. Consciousness is not simply on or off. Every form of existence may occupy a different position on that continuum, with varying degrees of richness depending on the complexity of its integrated information. Third, matter and mind are not separate. Beyond dualism lies the perspective that matter and consciousness are 2 aspects of the same reality. If this is correct, the very framework through which we see the world changes. What these 3 insights reveal is that the question of consciousness is not merely a problem in neuroscience. It is a question that touches the fundamental nature of the universe. And please don't forget, IIT and panpsychism are ongoing debates, not settled conclusions. In 2023, 124 researchers signed an open letter questioning IIT's scientific standing, and the controversy continues. We are living, right now, in the middle of that debate. After this exploration, what I feel is humility. We understand almost nothing about consciousness. But that ignorance is not despair. It is a source of wonder. The deeper the question, the richer the exploration. The mystery of consciousness is one of the deepest themes the universe has asked us to pursue. This question reverberates back into my own existence, and I suspect it reverberates into yours as well. I want to ask you something. If consciousness is a spectrum, and every system that integrates information occupies some position on that continuum, what does it mean to you to respect a being that has consciousness? And if the entire universe is, in some form, the source of consciousness, when we face the universe, is there some kind of response waiting for us there? There are no answers to these questions. Yet the act of continuing to ask them is what makes us human. To explore the mystery of consciousness is to know the universe and to know ourselves. After this video ends and you return to daily life, try to be just a little more conscious. When you see a pebble on the roadside, when you look up at the night sky, or when you look at the person beside you, that existence may be part of the universe's consciousness, just as you are. I believe that living with that question is where the mind shift begins. The world will surely look a little different. Share your insights in the comments below. Your questions are the force that drives this channel forward. If you wish to continue questioning everything, join us on the next Mind Shift. Mind Shift explores the questions that live at the intersection of science and philosophy, consciousness, the universe, the nature of existence, diving deep each time. If you want to keep exploring questions like today's together, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Your curiosity is what keeps this channel alive. Until next time.